As you might have been able to tell from my last video, I'm a big fan of Nurbit, and I'm particularly enamored by his series of videos about him being chased by NPCs and having to complete the game before they catch him. On the surface, this is a dumb idea, but in practice, the threat of having all your hard work get ruined by a walking jump scare is engaging as all hell. I decided I wanted a piece of that action, and I also decided that I wanted to replay Oblivion, so my brother suggested this challenge today. So let's ask the question, can you beat Oblivion while being chased by the King of Micarcand? Patrick Stewart says some funny words. I'm dropped into the character creator, and I go with a female high elf. Reason being is that high elves are taller than the other races, so they move faster. But male high elves start with a penalty to their speed stat, so I did what I had to do. I spend a few minutes playing around with Oblivion's janky-ass character creator, create a face not even a mother could love, and give her the only appropriate name I could think of. A dickhead mocks me from across the hall, a creepy old man says he's been having dreams about me, and I get let out of my cell. I slice up some rats, pick up a bow, and immediately know in my heart of hearts that any build I make will eventually become a stealth archer anyway, so I might as well start early. I shoot some goblins in the face, meet back up with the Emperor, and choose the Thief as my birth sign because it improves both speed and agility. And also luck, but who gives a shit. A wall tells me to carry a torch. I go ahead and not because I'm busy carrying a bow. The Emperor gives me the Amulet of Kings, tells me about his son, and lets himself get assassinated. I create my own class and go with a stealth build with agility and speed as my favorite attributes and choose athletics, light armor, marksman, restoration, security, sneak, and acrobatics as my skills. Boros tells me to get the amulet to some prick named Joffrey. I cleanse the sewer of life and escape into the real world. Alright, normally you can't fast travel in a while being chased by a challenge, but the challenge hasn't really started yet, and Oblivion very helpfully unlocks pretty much every city and town on your map by default, so I teleport to Skingrad and make my way to Micarcand. I immediately feel validated in my choice of an archer build by killing a bandit without ever getting touched by them, enter the ruin, and get gangbanged by some zombies. Trying again, this time I turn the zombie prick into a pincushion, get utterly bewildered by this gate, it will not surprise you to know I haven't played this game in a couple years, eventually figure out that you need to jump down in to reach a pressure plate, enter the next room, and get my ass beat by some goblins. Reloading, this time I run away from the goblins like a little bitch, wander aimlessly about looking for a button that lets me continue, enter the final chamber, grab the Great Welkin Stone, spawning in the King of Micarcand, and starting the challenge. In case you've never seen one of Nurbit's while being chased by challenges, I'll give you the lowdown. You must finish the game while being chased by the NPC in question. Duh. I can't fast travel because if I could just teleport around the map to gain ground against the falling NPC, and that's no fun. Normally the NPC that's following you wants to speak with you, but in this case it wants to kill me. So if it does, the challenge is over and I lose. Got all that? Good. Because now it's time for a new segment I like to call Mr. Monotone Complains About Shit! This week's subject, Oblivion's lockpicking minigame. So how it works is that you tap the tumblers in the lock until they get sticky and lock them in place. It's a simple pattern recognition game. What makes it aggravating is that sometimes, even if you lock in the tumbler at the right moment, the game goes nuh-uh and breaks your lockpick. This is bad because sometimes when that happens, tumblers you've already locked in will come loose. So in a lock with lots of tumblers, this shit takes forever and eats through lockpicks like nobody's business. Anyway, I unlock the doors, make it outside, and test whether or not the king is chasing me by trying to wait. I can't, so the challenge is on. You might be wondering why I can't fast travel while the king is chasing me. Well, this is a Bethesda game, so of course it's because of a glitch. As long as the King of Micarcand is chasing you, the game thinks you're in combat, so you can't wait, fast travel, or sleep. Those of you familiar with this game may have just realized a problem I'll be encountering later. Oh, don't worry, we'll get to that. I waddle my ass to Wayland Priory and realize this is going to be a long recording session without fast travel. I deliver the amulet to Joffrey, he explains that without the Emperor shit's fucked, and points me toward the Emperor's bastard. I stop by the Imperial City to resupply, where I remember how much I like the Thieves Guild questline, so I steal some random bullshit, get arrested, spend the night in jail, and when I get out, the King of Micarcand is waiting for me, but he gets got by the city guards. I'm obviously forced to reload, and this means I can't join the Thieves Guild. That's probably for the best. I've got a lot of walking to do for the main quest anyway, and the Thieves Guild would just balloon my recording time. Who needs the Quickie Mart? Not me! I arrive in Kvatch and see it's a little worse for wear. I find Sean Bean, ask him to come with me, and he tells me to fuck off. I talk with the guard captain cowering outside the city, offer my assistance, and he tells me to go into the Oblivion gate and shut that fucker down. And also find his missing guard, but mostly the first thing. I enter the portal and enter a place so red and desolate I thought I was in Soviet Russia.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I find the guard the captain was talking about and convince him to stick around and act as a meat shield. We cut down the imps in our way well enough, but then Private Dick Waffle steps on an IED and blows his nuts off. I honor his memory by looting his shit and enter the big scary tower. I run away from the enemies in the tower like a coward. Dick Waffle was the hero, not me, and I somehow get turned around and exit the way I came in. Trying again, this time I see the doors in the wall, find some poor doomed bastard named Menon, and he tells me to stop being a pussy and fight the demon man with the sodomizing stick. I circle strafe the horny man to death, loot the key from his cadaver, ascend the tower into the sigil stone room, and you bet your mother's fat ass I quick saved my way to get a good enchantment. I get damage health on strike in case you were wondering. The captain volunteers me to help retake the city. We clear a path to the church, I use the remaining guards as meat shields during the battle, I lower the gate to the castle, more meat shielding ensues, I find the body of Count Chocula, and tell the captain that he died like a punk bitch. I finally convince Martin to come with me, and we make the 9-minute journey to Wayland Priory, and it was on this journey that I truly understood just how tedious this playthrough was going to be. Anyway, we make it to the Priory, Aranor informs me that shit's fucked, I save Jock from getting his face smashed in, and we find out that the Mythic Dawn got the amulet. It's decided that we should make for Cloud Ruler Temple, so we start walking, and after about 6 minutes, the game crashes. Are we having fun yet? Running that back, after 10 grueling minutes of nothing but walking and stabbing wolves, we arrive at Bruma, and I notice that the stow animation doesn't change angles as you walk, and that bothers me for some reason. I seem to have left Martin and Joffrey in the dust, because when I arrive at Cloud Ruler Temple, those two are nowhere to be found, and I have to just stand around with my thumb up my ass waiting for them to show up. It's a good thing a lich isn't encroaching on me as we speak, otherwise I'd be worried. Martin is introduced to the Blades, he gives a little speech, and the back of some dude's head tells me about their insecurities. Joffrey inducts me into the Blades, gives me a sick-ass katana, and tells me to trek back to the Imperial City and talk with the failure who couldn't stop the Emperor's assassination. I steal some hard-working rancher's horse in order to make this experience bearable, and about halfway to the Imperial City, the game crashes. I'm not having an aneurysm, you're having an aneurysm. I make it to the city and meet up with Boros. He has me tail a stalker, turns out he was an assassin, I give him some paper cuts, find a book on his corpse, and Boros' silhouette gives me the lowdown on the Mythic Dawn, and tells me to go bother the mages about that. Carmina tells me that the secret to finding the Mythic Dawn's hideout is to study their books. Naturally, we only have 2 of a 4-book set, so I'm told to go step into a bookstore for the first time in my life and talk with the owner. He says that books 3 and 4 are impossible to find, and then says he has a copy of 3 but won't sell it to me. I play Oblivion's weird-ass persuasion minigame until I can't no more, then bribe him until he sells me the book. The guy he was supposed to sell the book to comes in just then, and I scare him straight about meeting a Mythic Dawn, and he tells me about the meeting he set up with them. I inform Boros, we find the meeting spot, he tells me to hang back, the Mythic Dawn member spots me immediately, so I Lee Harvey Oswald his ass, yoink the book from his cold dead hands, and escape back to the surface. I return to Tarmina, and she says she'll put her thinking cap on and try and decipher the location of the Mythic Dawn. Translation, I have to kill time until the game decides I can continue. Yes, I know I could just go to the tomb of Prince Caramel and continue the quest from there, but there's some shit I'd like to do, so let's just pretend I can't. I enter the arena and talk with Owen, the resident dickhead. I tell him I'd like to fight in the arena, and he laughs so hard he shits himself. After he realizes I'm serious, he gives me a battle raiment and tells me to spill some blood for the blood god or some shit. The first opponent is just some idiot with a sword and board, and I circle straight their ass straight to hell. Opponent 2 is more the same. The third opponent is a fellow archer. This one is as easy as shooting him, hide behind a wall while he shoots me, repeat. The fourth match is also a change of pace. This time it's a man with an axe and a shield. Actually, that's not really different from a sword and board, ignore me. And my fifth match is no one, because it's past Owen's bedtime. So I chat up with the Roy Prince, and he tells me that his dad he never met was royalty, and he'd really like some proof of that. This leads to me stealing another horse and trekking halfway across the goddamn country. By the grace of God, the game doesn't crash, and I enter the keep. I discover that the prince's dad is a vampire. I exit the keep, watch my horse get cut down. I steal another one, the game crashes, god damn it, and I return to the prince and inform him that he's half monster. He doesn't take that very well. I return to Armina, she figured out the book puzzle for me, I go to the very obvious map on the tomb of Prince Caramel, and get pointed toward the meetup spot, walk halfway across the country again, and get inducted into a cult. Now, I know how cults work, from each according to their ability, to each according to their need, blah blah blah. And it's been determined that I don't need shit, so I relinquish all my worldly possessions to some dude I just met. I'm led to the head nut job. He makes a speech, fucks off, and I kill a captive to satiate my bloodline. Keep my cover. I then wait for everyone else to leave the room, kill the guy who stole my stuff, steal the nut job's sacred text, and then make a mad dash out of there. I crawl on my hands and knees back to Cloud Ruler Temple. That only took 8 minutes. Inform Joffrey that the game has to go on a few more hours. I deliver the Mysterium Xarxes to Martin and talk with Joffrey about some spies. If this were a better quest line, we would just purge the entirety of Bruma to weed them out, but apparently I'm not allowed to have any fun. I stand in plain view near where the spies were last seen, and they spot me immediately, and instead of trying to convince me that they're just out for a midnight walk or something, they say fuck it and attack. I find some keys in their bodies, I talk with the guard captain, he lets me investigate their house, and I discover invasion plans. I report back to Joffrey. He sends me to Martin, who has translated a portion of the book and says we need a Daedric artifact. This next part, this motherfucking quest, broke me. I spend 10 minutes trekking to Azura Shrine, play the dog-ass persuasion minigame to figure out I need glow dust, kill the Will-O-Wisp for some, and realize I fucked up. You must be at least level 2 to summon any Daedra, and I can't sleep to level up because I'm being chased by the King of Micarcand. I decide, you know what, fuck it, and trek down to town to see if maybe the wiki is wrong and you can sleep while being chased. So I rent a room, take a snooze, level up, get worried, wait 24 hours, and the king doesn't show up. It was at this point that I started cackling like a madman. Something, somewhere, must have killed the king, and the idea of reloading the game to a point where he is still alive, knowing that something beyond my control could just kill him again, did unkind things to my psyche. After scraping together what remains of my sanity, I decided this challenge just became, can you beat Oblivion without fast traveling? I return to the shrine, wait until it's dusk, because fuck it, and Azura tells me to kill some vampires. I just lead them outside the cave and circle strafe them to death. I'm a master of that at this point. I return to the shrine and get the star. Whoop-de fucking shit. I walk back to Cloud Ruler Temple. I'm certainly not sick of this shit. Give the star to Martin, and Joffrey sends me down to Bruma because the city guards are too stupid to figure out how to close an Oblivion gate. I talk with the captain, he gives a boilerplate duty over all else speech to his men, and we enter the gate. I sick the captain on the imps inside. My bow breaks trying to assist him, and I'm forced to start using the fancy butter knife Joffrey gave me. We burst in the tower and run past all the enemies like a man who is tired of playing this game, and get a good enchantment from the sigil stone on my first try. Joffrey wants me to gather reinforcements to protect Bruma, but I'm gonna be real with you, that sounds like a lot of work, and more importantly a lot of walking, for an absolutely unnecessary end. Returning to Martin, he requests the blood of a god. I try to give him some wine I got from church, but apparently some dollar store hooch I got from a pedophile ain't gonna cut it. I make it to Sancretor, kill some ghosts with my new bow, release the spirit of a tomb guard, and he explains the cool shit that done went down here that's frankly more interesting than the rest of this quest. I release the spirits of his friends, they unlock the way to the armor of Tiber's septum, and I put my greasy mitts on the sacred relic without even watching them. I start making for the temple again when the game crashes. Cool, awesome, I love this! I return to Martin, the real hero of the story, and he needs a great welcome stone. Well, I already picked that thing up when I started this godforsaken challenge, so I give it to him, and like the unpleasable dickhead he is, now demands a great sigil stone. I inform the Countess that we're going to sit around with our thumbs up our asses while several portals to hell open up in her backyard. We meet up on the outskirts of Bruma, Martin gives heroic speech number 287 of this game, and we wait for the Great Oblivion Gate to open, and I, and only I, charge in dick first. I witness a badass looking siege engine that would have been more imposing if it moved faster than 8 inches a minute, and start ascending my third set of spooky towers and bridges of the day. I unlock a bunch of gates, run past some hellspawn, get my dick chopped off by a guillotine, play the god-awful lockpicking minigame, and grab the forbidden gumball. I deliver the stone to Martin, and now we have everything we need to recover the Amulet of Kings. He opens a portal to paradise. I step through, and it's a lot prettier than I remember. Micarcand starts jawing at me while I shoot down some Triceratops demons, and I run across a horny man who doesn't want to stick his blade in me.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Talk about him disemboweling me with his sword, pervert. He says I have 2 options to proceed, kill him or work for him. I'm running low on arrows, so I decide some bitch work is in order. He tells me to release one of his friends that some disloyal Mythic Dawn members captured. That's simple enough. There's a reason all builds eventually converge into Stealth Archer. After freeing the horny man's horny friend, I'm fitted with the bands of the Chosen. Cameron drops some juicy lore that's big if true, and I meet Eldemil, a defector from the Mythic Dawn. He says he can help me if only I step into this cage. My parents never gave me that stranger danger talk, so I step in, get my feet burned, and run past the enemies like, dear God, let this hell end! He gets the bands off me. I find Micarcand, get a sneak attack while standing right in front of him, and get crispy fried for my troubles. Trying again, this time I get lucky with the spells cast, and also I swallow my body weight in healing potions. I turn Cameron into cadaver, loot the amulet, and return to the real world. Alright, home stretch. Let's see if I can manage to not fuck it up further. Martin puts on the amulet. I steal a horse for old time's sake. We travel to the Imperial City one last time, talk with the Elder Council, Martin is declared Emperor, and the Mythic Dawn invade the city. I run ahead. The game tells me to talk with Martin, and I can't go back and get him because the guards lock the gate. Welp, I managed to fuck it up. I reload. Babysit the goddamn Emperor! Talk with him at the appointed moment, he becomes a dragon god and kills Meru Stegon. So can you beat Oblivion while being chased by the king of Micarcand? Hypothetically yes, realistically no. Fuck this challenge! Woo! Ahem. What I meant to say is that the tedium of not being able to fast travel, combined with the uncertainty of whether or not the King of Micarcand will actually survive the adventure, make for an awful time. I'll have to do another challenge of this game soon. I actually want to enjoy this game. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. My name is Mr. Monotone96, and I'll see y'all later.